Hi folks, welcome back to Stacey Can. Today I am dehydrating garlic to make garlic powder or garlic granules. I kind of prefer more of a granule for my garlic powder than onion powders or onion granules versus the powder, because I've often found when I use powder it just kind of like poofs in the air quite a bit and it's kind of more floating around the air than it is into your dish. I also think that granules have a little more flavor, so that's just me personally. So I am going to be making my own garlic granules. So the information and recipe, etc. is down below. So please hit like and subscribe while you're down there too, because that does help while I go through all of this. So the ingredients that you need is garlic. One thing to look for when you're buying garlic is sometimes when you see them, they're like kind of like pink or purple on the outside, and you might think, that doesn't look great. It's actually a sign that it's you got a good garlic, but not always. So double check. And I asked the gal at the store I go to, Market of Choice. I love that store where I live. It's kind of more of a specialty grocery store, and I was asking her about the pinkness, and she was a chef as well, and she's like, yes, that is a good thing. But more importantly, she's like, just smell it. If you can stick your finger on the inside there and just give it a good smell, if it smells really good, then you're golden. Sometimes if you push on it, it might be a little soft and squishy. That's obviously not a good flour. So this is an actual flower of garlic. I actually, I don't have them all out at the moment, but I have 9 flowers that I'm gonna do. I have a 9 tray dehydrator here. I'm not going to use all of them because that's going to be a lot of garlic powder for me, or garlic granules. So I'm probably going to just fill up, like, use however many those are, 3 to 4 trays for this amount of garlic. So the tools that you need is, it's nice to have a little knife and also a device to shake it in. You can use a mason jar with a lid if you want, or 2 bowls that you hook it together. I have found with the mason jar it doesn't really work as well when you're shaking. I think 2 metal bowls put together, or glass bowls or something. This obviously is, I don't have 2 bowls that fit on top of each other clear like that. I do have this pie plate though, sits on top of this particular bowl very well. And then once I break up the flowers, then we'll give it a shake in here to help peel the garlic, because this is the longest process, is peeling the garlic. And sometimes having a knife, you're gonna need a knife to kind of like cut off any blemishes that you have. And sometimes it's nice to have the knife to just like pop it in there and pluck out the garlic. I have seen those TikToks. There's a variety of ways to, or just even on YouTube, wherever, there's a lot of ways to peel garlic on the interwebs. This one I find is a pretty decent way. At least it breaks it all up if you don't get all the garlic peeled. But you do you on that. So with all of this, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm just taking the garlic flowers. This is a flower of garlic, and you just want to break it up before you put it in your shaking container. That's a good way to do it. And I just have this pie plate and a bowl. You need a container that you can like sit properly over each other so you can shake it. I think this works a little bit better than using a mason jar with a lid. Maybe you have better success with that. But we're just wanting to break up the garlic, making sure that it's kind of broke up a little bit out of the flour, just a little bit. I don't think you have to work too terribly hard at it, but I find it works better this way. That's just me. And then we'll give it some shakes for about 20 to 30 seconds. I'm done shaking, and then after you get it out of here, see, it kind of just peels apart, and then it's already kind of broken and slit, so it's easy to peel apart, which is what I'm doing here. And then I do cut off the this little end just because I don't want to dehydrate that part, and just keep going until you got all the garlic you want to use peeled. Also look for little bruising or any damage, and you can just kind of cut that part off. You don't want to dehydrate that. You do want good clean garlicky cloves. So I've got a couple of flowers peeled or broken up already and peeled and ready to go. These big pieces you definitely want to slice in like about 1/4 of an inch. You need to break the outer shell of the garlic. You can't dry them whole like this it would take forever, but also you don't know, the outside can get real crispy, but the inside can actually still be really wet and not dehydrating and drying out. So you do need to cut these, every piece. You actually need to cut every piece, including, you know, these big pieces you can slice in a few different sizes. And then the little pieces, even the little pieces like this one here, you just cut them in half. You just want to slice them in half so that they too will dry evenly, because of that outer shell is pretty tough. So I have peeled 8 flowers of garlic, and it's set up 3 trays for me, so that gives you an idea. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the trays in. So now I'm gonna set the timer or the heat to 140 degrees. As I have that option. If you only have a 1 thermometer option on your dehydrator, you just got to work with what you got. So I'm going to do this for 2 hours, and then I'll reduce it to 130 degrees and dehydrate for another 4 to 5 hours. I am finally done dehydrating this garlic. This took about 16 to 18 hours. Took a while, a lot longer than anticipated. Originally, the recipe said that you needed to dehydrate at 140 degrees for 2 hours, and then drop the temperature to 130 degrees for 4 to 6 hours to dehydrate. I had a break in between. This dehydrator has a timer, so when it went off at 2 hours, I kind of forgot about it for a few hours, so the garlic cooled quite a bit. So by the time I dropped it to 130 degrees, then it had to get up, you know, to the heat, and it just, I think I put it for 4 hours, and then no, I think I put it for 6 hours, and then the timer went off again because I have a son who plays basketball, and I had to go to a basketball game, and so it just kept, I had to keep stopping and starting, and so the garlic would then cool, etc. So I think if you were to set it for a regular temperature, you probably could get it done in like 10 to 12, at least with the size of garlic that I had, which I will show you here in a second. This is the size of the garlic that I had, and the pieces, they are snapping, and they are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So, you know, like these pieces here. So anyway, yes, so they're snapping like they should. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and take the garlic and put it in my little Ninja here, and we're gonna then blend it up. So now that I got the pieces that are dry enough to blend up, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in my blender here, my magic bullet or Ninja, and give it a whiz. Now again, I am going for more of garlic granules than actual powder, so keep that in mind. You can go a lot finer if you want than me. I prefer, like I said, that I prefer the granules, just because it gives it a little bit more, I think it's got more flavor. It's a little bit easier to control, and it stays in the, doesn't flow up into the air. This smells fantastic. And so this is a couple of cloves of garlic for sure in here, and that's how much it made, but that's gonna last me a while, actually. The one thing you're gonna wanna do, so we're gonna put the lid on here. The one thing you're gonna wanna do after you, for the next few days, probably the next week or so, is just make sure you condition it. And conditioning just means give it a shake. Because there will be some pieces in here that aren't quite dry enough, and the dry pieces in here will help absorb that moisture. If you don't condition it, you might get clumps. So if you get clumps and you're fine with clumps, then that's, you do you. But that's all you have to do is just give it a shake, and you're good to go. It really is a simple process. It just takes time, obviously, cutting up the garlic and peeling, blah, blah, blah. You can buy it in a package if you want, pre-peeled garlic, but it's not as fresh. It just isn't, and it can kind of be woody feeling and smelling. It's just not as fresh as peeling it yourself. But you know, you do you. on that part. But that's how you do it. It's pretty simple. The recipe is down below, as is. Please hit like and subscribe while you're down there because that does help. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, feedback, concerns, by all means, please reach out to me. I'm on Facebook at Stacey Can Can. You can at me on Instagram and TikTok at Stacey Can Can. My website is www.staceycancan.com. My email is info@staceycancan.com. And my LinkedIn is at Stacey Can Can. So you can reach me however. But thanks so much for joining me on this dehydrating adventure. And until next time, happy canning.